welcome back to Kavran. A quick recap of things as they stand. You have, after spending quite some time and engaging in quite a few adventures within the port city of Denderport, have decided to move on, accepting the arrangement of passage on a ship from a priestess named Helga, who you have befriended and have helped out a few times. She informed you it would be a few days before the ship was arranged, so Styx and Kiri made their own adventures and entertained themselves for a couple of days. Arwen and Neo went for a picnic and got slightly waylaid by a magically appearing tower that appeared out of nowhere. They helped an experimental wizard who was called Matilda, who liked to come up with and experiment with different ways of utilising spells and combining different spell effects and things like that, and had inadvertently, instead of summoning something to herself, summoned herself to something. They went on a little adventure through the woods to find the missing ingredients, and were able to catch up with and save a creature called a nightmare from two griffins. Gaining its trust, they were also able to harvest some of its tail hairs as if they were potion ingredients, and return them to Matilda in her tower. Not quite enjoying the picnic or the tree climbing lesson that they had in mind. And so we begin probably another day or so later. It is the morning of your voyage. You've been you've been informed of the time and place to meet for the departure, which would have been early morning-ish down on the docks, and have been given the name Captain Ivan to liaise with. If there's any last-minute preparations, any last-minute shopping trips or anything like that, any supplies anyone wants to pick up before they head off, that you have the opportunity to do so this morning. Anything you want to acquire, anything like that, any shape or form.
Why are both of these carrying? That's not right. Line out of that one.
Has that one been this week?
I know, I think it messed up.
I need to buy 2 arrows. Just 2.
Yeah. 2 arrows. At some point I'll get around to creating that document that I need full of stuff like this. That will break down the prices of things like that, but for the time being, just bear with while I look at it.
That's right.
How many rations do I have? Probably refill those.
So it'll be 1 silver for 2 arrows.
Mm-hmm.
And you can pick that up from a regular blacksmith.
Mm-hmm.
Can I refill my rations?
Yeah.
I need 3.
Okay. That'll probably run you a similar price of about 1 silver for a couple of days worth of rations.
Can I also go out and buy a pirate hat? If we're going on the sea, I want to look professional.
Yeah, you can certainly go out and buy a pirate hat. I mean, pirate hats come in many shapes and sizes. How big a brim and how elaborate?
I want like a bandana underneath.
Right. Okay.
A green one.
Yeah.
And then I want like a proper tricorn.
Okay.
Hat. Yeah. That's my plan. I think I'll blend in.
Okay. Just make a general investigation check just to see what sort of range of stuff you find. Oh, nice, 17. Yeah, you're able to find like what looks like a real nuts and bolts like sailors stockings and things like that. One of these places where you walk in and nothing looks like fancy. They're not catering to tourists or flashy or anything. It's the real like down to earth, the good stuff. Yeah. So a bandana and it's like a proper like leather. It's got like this nice molded shape to it. And you can tell it's sort of got like this waxy coat to it, so like it won't, start to flop or droop the first sort of bit of sea spray or rain you come across.
Hells to the yes.
Yeah, so this will probably run you something like 6 or 7 gold. So 6 gold, not gold, silver, sorry.
Oh, you spoil me. I think that's it. I think that's all I want. I'm pretty sure it is. I should probably have a look at. Oh, I don't know, because I'm not like. I don't think of Styx as like some big tank. He's very clearly not. So I don't want to rush in and buy like really heavy armor with like disadvantage of stealth and stuff. But at the same time, I want the good health. Yes.
Yes, you want the good AC. The good
yes.
AC.
Oh, there's like 400 gold to get a breastplate. I get a chain shirt for the time being. Yeah, you know what? I'll go and can I find a blacksmith to get me a chain shirt?
Yeah.
No, that would be exactly the same as my armor now. Never mind. Yeah, that would. Yeah, because chain shirt is. Oh no, that'd be a one bonus. That'd be 15.
15 overall, yeah. So
and then a 17 with my shield.
Yeah.
Oh, is that +1 worth however much? I think it is.
For the same price, you can get scale mail, but that would be disadvantage on stealth.
It would be. No, I think I'm going to go with the chain shirt. Although I would personally argue that rattling around in a chain shirt would be worse than like scale mail.
Well, because the way
personally,
my understanding
but then it's
of the
the
way
D&D.
scale mail is created is it's chain mail with scale links over the top.
Yeah, so
you
that would rattle a lot
You've got
more,
the double
I guess.
skin, which gives you the extra protection, but also the extra noise.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good point.
Of how the armor is constructed.
Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point. Alright. Yeah. I'm gonna go out and buy a chain shirt for 50 gold, and then I'm gonna save up all my money from now to get a nice breastplate. Breastplate.
I mean, yeah.
You mean you're going to save up all your money after we've cured Neo?
Oh yeah, of course. that old co-winky dink.
You know, the reason we're getting on a boat.
Yeah. 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 Well, like, okay. So the way I sort of see it is that obviously getting Neo will probably end up being a dangerous task. So it'll be good to have, good armor anyways, so that I don't
Absolutely.
die when helping him. Because if I die, then there's one less person who puts all their money into helping him. So there.
That's
Or
fair.
it's one person that can give all of their money to helping it.
Or that. You know what? Let's go. Do I like RP that, or can I just say I went to a
No,
shop?
we can just skim over that. Unless you have a
Cool.
burning desire to up it, then
No, I think I'm good.
okay. Armor for arrows, 6 got new armor. Anything for Clary? Or is she any ammunition or anything like that?
No, Clary's okay.
She was all good. Okay, well, it's up to you whether you all want to hear Ben's alarm, I'm guessing.
Yes.
It's up to you whether you all want to arrive together or arrive independently. You have all been keeping separate rooms, you've said. So, although the message might have been spread around, you may be choosing to arrive independently down the docks.
Yeah. I think I've probably just been spending a bunch of time walking around, learning sort of what I can. Spending some time outside the city in the wilds, chilling out. So I guess I just sort of rocked up at some random, probably a lot earlier than everyone else, because I was like, oh, what time should we meet? I don't know. Crap, I better just go wait there now. So Styx has been waiting there like a solid 8 hours for everyone to show up. Like,
Okay, so Styx is there way earlier than everyone else. And he actually sees the boat come in. Little does he know it is the boat when it arrives. But it is this grand, one of the larger ships that arrives. You sort of watch them come and go. There are various fishing vessels, trade vessels, and things pulling in and out. And the docks is, the main docks themselves is quite busy with people coming and going. There's people carrying things, carts and things of goods being loaded and unloaded. And the general hustle and bustle. And so Styx is waiting for a while, a couple of, let's say, an hour or so, something like that, before he sees Helga arrive, recognisable from a distance with her sort of tall height, and dressed very differently in these long white robes that you've seen before. This flowing sort of mixture of gown and robes. You see her appear from a distance and start walking along. She gets sort of 2/3 of the way down towards you when she turns into a little bay, and you see an orc figure, quite an impressive looking captain with a hat to rival your own.
I like a man with a good hat.
Indeed. Steps down off the gangplank, and they have a quick embrace upon the deck, and then you see them sort of wandering sort of up and down, having a little bit of a chat.
Nice.
You can just see them from a distance, and you can make way over there, or you can wait for whoever else.
I think I'll wait for everyone else. I don't want to jump the gun. I think I'll probably wait for everyone else to come in. Obviously, it's mainly the party with Neo in it, because obviously that's the reason why we're going. Don't want to just hop aboard and then all you guys realize, actually, we don't really want to go here. We're going to go to the other place, and I'm just like, so I'm going to the old plans by myself.
Styx is
Sticks to the conference.
Six is worried about the FOMO.
Six is worried about the phone.
And also
Exactly.
slightly worried that this is some elaborate prank to get rid of him. It seems like. So,
Or just worried that he gets on the wrong boat. Like, this isn't actually the boat that goes there. Helga's going on a different one. And it's like some weird thing. He's a man of the woods, not a man of the sea, okay?
That's fair. Who arrives next?
Oh, no, I'm just going to go check on my food. Oh, 2
Yeah,
seconds.
that's cool.
I highly doubt it will be Arwen. She'll probably rock up 10 minutes before it leaves.
Well, you've been given a meet time, which is not necessarily a departure time.
She'll rock up 10 minutes late.
Clary probably gets there like right on the dot,
Right
on the meet.
dot, fair enough. Punctual and
Yeah. Not early, not late.
not late, just, you know, like it arrives at a respectful time. Yeah, see, I mean, you'd arrive there and be able to probably spot both Sticks milling around on his own, sort of maybe shifting glances over at Helga, like, is that alright, bud? Is that not? We were looking at, notice his newly acquired hat. Yeah, you can join him, or you can head straight over and start having a chat.
Yeah, I'll join Sticks.
Okay, head over and introductions, hellos, those sorts of things. Everyone's got packs and what have you after staying in the same place for a little bit of time. It probably feels a little bit like travelling again. Having spent 3-4 days in the same place, still putting down roots and then up again. And then and you sort of, you've arrived. You sort of looking around, there's no Arwen, no Neo, and then you wait 5-10 minutes, and they come hurrying. Neo sort of striding quite purposefully, Arwen just sort of blissfully unaware that she's caused any sort of problem whatsoever.
Yes.
It's that sort of thing where one person is in a hurry and the other person isn't, and so they end up sort of 2 steps behind. So it's like every 3 steps you look over your shoulder, like, come on, we're late.
That is exactly it.
Yeah, so again, you would probably spy Clary waiting with Sticks, and also be able to spot Helga having a chat to this captain. You can probably assume is the captain who informed about Captain Ivan.
Arwen is instantly jealous that Helga has another friend that she was not informed about.
Okay.
So she walks over to Sticks in a huff. Yep. Absolutely fuming.
Neo will do hellos and introductions and stuff. You notice that he's kind of felt a little bit sort of out of touch at times with around all the sort of ranged fighters. So he's picked himself up a crossbow, particularly as they're going to be travelling on the sea.
Yes, join the club, my friend.
So yeah, he's picked himself up a big crossbow, so just in case. He knows how ships work, and you can't always get close to people. So on the off chance, get that crossbow for the time being.
Nice.
Yeah, and the 4 of you are now gathered. It's quite a clear day, and the weather is, sort of standard and good. You've got what I referred to back in the other day, but I quite like the expression of blue cloud. So you've got, a little bit of sunshine and clouds and things like that.
Nice. Pretty.
Yeah, so it's sort of reasonably warm. You don't feel like you're going to get drenched in any impending thunderstorms or anything like that. It's maybe sort of at this point you are spotted. Helga and Ivan have boarded the ship, and you in fact see her standing in this ready position on the prow. It looks like she was trying to keep an eye out for you and hadn't spotted you before. And you sort of he brings his arm, gives you guys a wave, and then sort of beckons you to come over. As she spots the group of you.
I'm the first on the ship.
Okay. As you head towards the ship, she disappears from the prow, and you see her coming down. She meets you at the bottom of the gangplank. Again, and then is quickly joined by this captain. And she turns to you and says, there, here you are. I hope you got. I see you all got my notes. This is Captain Ivan. He will be in charge and see you safely to Hengist Fossa. All things being good. With fair weather and fair seas.
Cool. Are you sure you don't want to come?
No, I have my duties here, as I have said.
Okay. I'll send you a postcard.
Thank you. Ivan sort of turns and looks over you like, well, yes, well. Let me, I'm going to guess. Points at Arwen. Arwen.
That's worrying that he knows my name.
Oh, Neo Sticks. And Helga, so tell me your name, but remind me of it.
Okay, Clary.
Clary, yes. My apologies.
It's okay.
Well, this is my ship. We have a smallish crew, enough to keep the sails flying, but it would be appreciated if you can all pitch in from time to time. A bit of cooking and what have you. She runs clean, she runs smooth, but she's seen a few winds and a few weathers, and she needs a bit of TLC on the helm at times. As you look at it up close, you can see that it does indeed seem to be quite an old ship. You can make out sort of differences in sections of the planking and stuff like that, where it's been repaired and joined and stuff. So you can see the signs he's talking about of a well-used and well-loved ship. That originally was built by my grandfather. I've been on these seas since before I could walk. We will be in safe hands with me and Michael. But behind him you can see sort of a couple of people, moving about, toing and froing. One orc walks past him with this big barrel over one shoulder. Yes, but let's get on board and get you stowed, and we will be underway within the hour. I'll also introduce you to various crew members who you might need to know.
Nice.
Takes you up on deck, and takes you down below and shows you a series of cabins. So you all have your own cabins. As you approach, you can see there's a couple of crew sort of stacking boxes from one of the rooms outside. It's like, yes, we don't have many guests. We mainly use them for storage. So apologies if they're a little unkempt. But if Helga asks for a favor, then I do what I can.
How do you know Helga?
She is my sister.
Ah! Good man.
Big sister.
Yes, that is good. Cool. Nice. Friends!
Indeed. yeah, so there are 4 cabins. You can all deposit your belongings and make yourselves at home for a little bit. And then, yeah, after you've stowed your various sort of bags and things like that, he takes you back up on deck and introduces you to a couple of different crew members. Everyone you've seen seems to be an orc. It seems like this is a completely orc crew of varying ages, builds, genders, that sort of thing. Seems to be quite mixed. And the few he introduces you to, there's one up by the helm that's barking a number of orders and things intermittently, while also having a conversation with another one, it seems. He's like, yes, we need to make sure all of this is stowed down below. It's like, put that over there, and then we need to make sure that we've got enough fresh water and work out where we're going to resupply. Yeah, and that one with it as well, and those sorts of things. And tie that down. And Simon introduces you, and he says, this is Volg. He is my first mate. When I am not on board, if something happens to me, his word is law.
Excellent. Hello, Volk.
There is also, over there is Duma. She is our bosun and in charge of repairs and maintenance and that sort of thing. There is also Rolf, who is the quartermaster. He is in charge of all supplies, rations, those sorts of things, ammunition, all that. There is also two more who you may need to know. Goran is the cook, an excellent cook, all considering how things can sometimes be at sea. We eat a lot of fish, as I'm sure you probably guessed. And there's also our doctor, Astrid. Fingers crossed you do not have need of our services. And then there is various other crew members that you can potentially get to know over the course of the journey, but who don't necessarily have specific roles. Just to recap a little before you Ben, Captain Ivan has shown you on board. You've also met Helga, and she's said hello. And you've all got four little cabins.
Nice.
Below deck. Yeah. And looking around up on deck, you can see that there are 3 big ballistas on the top deck as well. It seems to be the main form of defences. The crew are they're all armed. It just seems like a general practice. They've all got some sort of long knife or something like that. Yeah, everything is
Nice.
yeah.
Sounds like a lovely vessel.
Yeah, the ship.
No, nothing about sailing, but
Yeah, the ship consists of sort of these 2 raised sections at the front and the rear. They seem to be to support these. There's one ballista mounted right at the prow, and then at the rear there's one mounted on either side, sort of either side of the wheel.
okay.
And yeah, and they're on slightly sort of raised castles, as it were, at the front and the rear, and then it like drops a little bit in the middle.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Ivan sort of turns to you and says, well, those are the introductions. I must leave you to make some final preparations. We should set sail within a half hour, or maybe an hour. depending on the tide.
Nice. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much. Going to very flamboyantly, half showing off, half just nodding my my hat.
Mm-hmm.
This hat will remain on sticks at all times. Who needs helmets? Am I right?
Oh, I'm gonna have that hat off you.
No, you can't do it.
Nah.
Every monster will wear that hat.
Yeah, none of
Everyone
have sticks goes on
die.
as well.
It's the monster that wears this freaking hat.
Yeah, so you have a little bit of time to kill on deck before you weigh anchor. You have the time to acquaint yourself with sort of where things are, kitchen, mess, those sorts of things. And just sort of get to know maybe a few people in the crew, and sort of start to recognise a few faces and things like that. As I said before, there seems to be a mixture of young and old, male and female, but everyone on board is an orc. You seem to be the only non-orcs aboard, and you all have your own little cabin. Which Ivan did explain they were a little bit shabby because they don't tend to have sort of guests. Everyone seems to be, everyone's normally crew, so they tended to use them as storage rooms. But there is a hammock hung up in each one and a window so you can see out. They've all got sort of little round windows that can just be like pivoted. So they seem to be sort of about maybe 8 inches in diameter. There's a little like sliding thing that slides out and it like disengages the lock so you can pivot it to get some fresh air and things in.
Okay.
Yeah. Was there anything anyone would like to do aboard? Anything anyone wants to find out?
Arwen wants to see where's the biggest room.
Where's the biggest room?
Yeah, even if it's like, even by an inch.
Okay, so you of the 4 cabins that you want to try and like nab the biggest one.
Yep.
Okay. Make an investigation check for me. 18. Does anyone else want to compete for the biggest room?
I'm alright. I think Styx is probably like, I'll sleep where I sleep. More sort of interested in the whole mechanics of sailing.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how one would keep themselves afloat on a ship. Because I don't like the thought of not floating on a ship.
Okay. So is that something you actively want to pursue? You want to try and sort of learn about?
Yeah, I'm probably like asking the crew like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? How do you tie that knot? What's that for?
Okay. Just roll straight intelligence, I think, for me, because this is about you trying to pick up information and learn quickly.
Oh boy,
18.
intelligence rolls are working well for me today.
Okay, so Arwen, you are absolutely able to find the biggest room.
Yes.
It seems like it's the one on the corner. And so it goes, rather than being square like the others, it goes back on the diagonal. It seems like there's a series of things like in a U shape. And so the ones in the corner seem to meet on these like 45-degree diagonals. So you've got that like extra space in it.
Nice. All the space for my animals.
Indeed. And Styx, you are able to find a receptive crew member who sort of takes you under their wing a little bit. And so you spend your time walking around with an orc named Yosef, who kind of just shows you, like, oh, well, this is where we keep such and such, and these are the ropes that do this, and all those sorts of things. And you learn a little bit about sort of general sailing, and this is the system for pulling up the anchor, blah 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 blah, and all those sorts of things.
Okay. Nice.
And it doesn't.
Yosef is his name, right? Yeah.
Yosef, yes. It doesn't
Excellent.
doesn't feel like too long before. So Yosef sort of has to sort of kindly put you to one side while he actively gets involved with things, and he starts sort of running around and pulling on ropes. It's like he sort of says he'll show you more when he's got a bit more time, but orders are being given and things.
Cool.
And so
Alright.
soldiers are running back and forth. A number of oars are unshipped from and used to just row the very brief period out of dock, rather than doing it directly under sail power. But you can see that the sails are being lowered and loosely readied as these oars slowly just bring it away from the docks. And after sort of about 10 minutes of rowing, when you've disengaged yourselves from the port and the sort of the slow sea traffic, the sails are unfurled in their fullest and speed picks up considerably. The oars are stowed and you set sail.
Woohoo! I'm the king of the world.
Indeed.
We're not in Kansas anymore. Stop.
It's like we're not in Kansas anymore.
Yes.
It's very different from Titanic.
Only slightly. Only if you really think about it.
Let's go to the great map so you can see. You guys have set sail from here in Denderport and have started sailing sort of southeast to angle your way through the Sharktooth Bay and around to cut back up north towards the Shattered Coast or the Shattered Shore. After a little bit of time of setting sail and being underway, you Ivan is at the wheel for this initial pulling out of docks. It's this very large ship's wheel, as I'm sure you're all familiar with, and he hands it off and comes down and sort of sees you, maybe sort of gathers you together to have a little chat with you all again. As well, with fair winds and fair weather, we should make the trip in between 2 and 3 weeks.
Lovely.
We will have to make various stops along the way to resupply for water and things like that, as well as we will see what happens on the water. all being well, we will not have to stop more than twice. But hopefully we can have a clean and pleasant journey. One of the reasons I agreed to take you on for Helga was we are slightly low on crew. And she also informed me you were excellent fighters. No, this is not a guarantee, but it is a possibility we will encounter something on this trip. People or beast that may try to hinder our passage. And it is, hopefully, you will not have to prove that you are as good as she says. She informed me you've become something of gained some local notoriety in the city with your exploits.
We're famous. It's a privilege for us to be on your ship. For you, obviously.
He just sort of chuckles and just like claps you on the back with a big hand. Up close you can see he's probably he's quite a, you can see well weather travelled salesman. Although he said he was Helga's younger brother, he looks older. The sun and things like that sort of constantly beating down and sort of aged him a little bit more. You can see sort of these start of sort of wrinkles around his eyes, and you can see he's got like very weathered and like tough hands. Not particularly well armoured or anything like that. You know, being a man at sea, he seems to be wearing sort of quite loose leathers, but does have this big sort of. He didn't have it on the deck, but it seems that he's strapped it on since setting sail. He's this big cutlass on one hip with this sort of this enormous like jeweled like curved guard that encloses the hand like on a rapier or something like that, similar, but it's this big curved cutlass.
Nice. Elegant.
And so yeah, I think what I will get you all to do is to use a similar method Ben will be familiar with, which is everyone will make a number of survival checks. It won't be, you guys aren't in control of everything, but it's kind of the best representation of how things go, and gives you a little bit of involvement rather than me just rolling in the background and being like, this thing now happens. So everyone can, one at a time, we'll start with Arwen. Roll survival checks until you've got either 3 passes or 3 fails, and I'm just going to turn the light on.
What counts as a pass?
Yeah, well, so, it's not too high, so 12 does in fact just pass. Just to represent, how things are going. And it's not incredibly high because you guys aren't in control, as I say. So you've got 2 passes there and 1 fail. There you go, 3 passes for Arwen.
Yay!
Nice. Would you like to go next, dear?
What do we see?
Just click that until you have 3 passes or 3 fails.
What's a pass again?
12.
1 pass. 1 fail. 2
Okay.
fails.
Oh no!
Clary's not doing it. Clary is not doing so well on board.
Right.
6.
time to pull out the big gun. Oh.
Three fails.
The guns have malfunctioned. Never
That's
mind.
a pass. That's also a pass.
Never mind.
And that's a pass. Okay. I did Neo's as well. He failed. He rolled a 4, a 5, a 4, and a natural 20.
Ah.
So, he didn't do great either. Okay, so you got 2 passes, 2 fails between you. So, middling. And the first couple of days seem to pass without incident. As you're sailing through this channel, it's a very wide channel, many miles wide, and so at times you can only see land on one side or the other, and sometimes it seems like you've drifted further to the right, sometimes further to the left, and the land sort of changes, and then after a couple of days it seems to be a little bit more steady on the left hand side as you approach this peninsula at the bottom. The weather holds, but isn't great. It's a little bit sort of misty in the early mornings, and it gets a little bit chilly in the evenings. But on the whole, it's not too bad. And the journey is gentle enough that no one is struggling with the choppy waters. You get to know a number of the crew on a more personal level, and you also can join in. You are invited to join in with the evening's activities when they slow things down. The boat sails through the night, but in the evenings and things they slow things down. They trim the sails a little bit so they're not travelling at maximum speed, and they're still making slight progress. But they have various, they all break off into various groups, various activities. There's a number of card games and dice games going on, you observe, as well as throughout the day there's general maintenance. Duma is always sort of seen about with various tools on a belt, a couple of other orcs in tow, making repairs and running general maintenance on the ship. And in the evenings seems very, very dexterous. Is often seen dealing cards and things like that. There's very fast, fluid fingers, it seems like. They also tell a number of stories and what have you, so you can pass the time enjoying sort of orc tales. Some of them are told in Orcish, and so unless anyone speaks it are incomprehensible, but a few of them are told in common as well from time to time that you can enjoy.
Oh, speak Goblin.
A couple of them, not for you, Clary, being from a land across the sea, but both for Arwen and Styx, a couple of them you can quite easily pull the details from and match them to stories and things that you have heard. They seem like quite common sort of ghost stories and those sorts of things that you would potentially have heard as well. But the names of characters, the place names and things like that have been changed, as they do when they move from culture to culture and they get picked up. The legendary hero, their race gets changed, their gender gets changed from things like that. One evening in particular, you're all sort of gathered round. One of the crew is just finishing telling a story of a a sailor who rowed single-handedly in a single-sailed boat down the gullet of a giant, giant leviathan that had been terrorizing ships and things, to slay the beast from inside and emerge unharmed. It's one of the younger members of the crew, who is, boisterously telling this story, and you can see a few of the older ones have sort of heard it before and things like that. And this is he's giving a very impassioned rendition, almost like he believes every word of the tale. And a few of the older ones are sort of just a bit more skeptical. And so as he finishes telling, one of the crew looks around, sort of a more fatherly figure, who you come to know as Felix, looks around and goes, who will tell us a story next? What about one of our guests? So gestures over to the various places where you guys are sitting. We have all heard these tales 1,000 times before. One of you must have something new to bring us.
Yes. I have such a tale of epic and woe. Maybe.
Excellent. In gestures, and they sort of like arrange themselves in a little sort of 3/4 ring. So there's a single stool highlighted out, and the orc vacates it, and Felix gestures for you to take a seat in the center.
In a far, far realm, there is known a people known as the Egg People. Now, one such man, dastardly rogue, is known as Mr. Humpty. He was known by the king's men and horses alike as a rather dastardly man, but was respected amongst them. And one day he tried to climb the greatest wall in the entire kingdom, a rather huge wall, a wall created by the gods themselves, it is said. He climbed to its very, very peak, sat upon the wall, and gleamed at the view over. But unfortunately, much like the tale of Icarus, another story I can tell you for another time, he enjoyed his stay too long and the weather turned. He fell off the wall, sadly. And Humpty, who was it, Humpty, had a great fall. And all the king's horses and all the king's men could not put Humpty back together again. 'Tis a sad tale.
So tragic.
A tragic tale of what happens if you get a little too cocky with, with stuff. Don't go, Humpty was, a dastardly rogue. He's a pretty good climber. But, maybe there's just some walls that shouldn't be climbed. It's the lesson of the story. I'm just going to end the thing with just a little number on my pan flute. That...
There's a little smattering of applause and things as you finish telling your story. I don't
Thank
know whether
you.
or not I gave you inspiration for
Arg.
when you stabbed yourself. If you haven't got it, you can have it for that.
Why, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. 'Tis a story that some of the people from when I was younger told me many, many times. One day I hope to travel and find these egg people. I hope they're as amazing as they sound in my head, although very fragile. Extremely fragile people, I imagine. I don't know why Mr. Humpty ever climbed that wall. It's very obvious what was going to happen as soon as he started. Anyway, there we go.
claps a hand on his shoulder. He's like, "It sounds like a magnificent wall."
Oh, it is said to be a great wall. Yes, it is said to be a great, built almost entirely of porcelain. It is said a great wall of China.
Oh no!
I could see it coming, but I was like, no, you can't.
I knew you were going to bring the Great Wall of China in somehow.
See, this is why I need to play a bard, guys. My next character is going to be a bard, and he's going to be awesome.
Oh,
But also, Styx will never die.
immortal forever.
Styx is basically immortal. I mean, did you hear that pun? Come on. A godly gift.
Oh,
I'll walk back to the other guys and just go, top that one. Just sit back down, feel quite chuffed on myself.
Yeah, as you should. Does anyone else have a story they wish to share this night?
no. I can't go after that.
Can't go after that.
My story of the big red dog whose name is Clifford is not as good as that.
Fair enough. So Felix just, no, none of you fell. Who's next then? And another orc stands up and starts telling their story. As they start to speak, there is a call, a look from the corner. It's like, or you hear over a shout. It's like, you're all a bunch of cheaters anyway. I don't want to play with you. And one of the, and then orc, like storms off and like pushes a small like pile of coins over and like storms out. And you just sort of hear. You just hear one of them say, "Don't worry about it. He'll be fine in the morning." But anyone else for a game?
Me!
Owen wants to play? Yeah? Yeah, you get up. There's a group of 3 orcs sitting around the table. So, Valve, you have 4. Room for 1 more? If anyone wants to play? Before we deal the next hand?
Clary will.
Clary? Okay, so the 2 of you sit down, and you're both handed a small wooden cup with 5 dice in the bottom. It says, "Do you know how to play?"
What are we playing?
This is the liar's dice.
Okay.
You roll your dice, and you bid on the result. So, if you pick a number of dice that can include any ones under the table, and you. I'm going to do this normally, rather than accented. So basically, everyone rolls 5 dice, and based on the results of your 5, you bet what the total number of dice are of an individual face value. So they're all d6. And so you might roll, so whatever you roll, but you might bet that there are 7 2s in the 25 dice pool.
Okay.
But the value the lower the value on the dice, the less the value of the hand. So obviously, like 6 is the best, and if you have to get it on or under. So if you say there's like 12 6s, and there's like 7 6s, you lose because you're over. But if you said there were 6 sixes and there were 7 sixes, you would still technically be in because you've guessed under. So there are technically 6 sixes, but someone that said 7 sixes would beat you. So if you both want to play, it's a silver to for the first hand. So everyone puts in a silver and then roll. Roll 5d6 for me. You can do it one at a time, so that, or like, you know, just so you know what your hand of 5 is. So I've just got to write some down.
Sure. Like, okay.
It's probably easier if you just go into that one and then go to advanced dice roller and then roll 5.
Oh, that was the thing I was trying to find. Ah.
1, 2, 3.
Oh wait, now I have to add it up. Oh no, I don't.
You don't have to add it up. You need the individual.
Six.
So there are 25 dice on the table. And the first one will, the first orc will open the betting, and he'll say he'll place a bet of 3 4s.
7 2s.
7 2s for Arwen.
3 6s.
3 6s. So 3 6s would beat the 2s, I think. I'm not 100% sure how live dice work, so I'm kind of doing it rough. But it's a complicated game, I will admit. Yeah, and so then there's a bet of 2 5s and 6 1s comes out. And then it goes round again. So there are 3 rounds of bidding, and you can either stick with your bid or you can up your bid. At which point you re-enter with, you have to pay to re-up your bid. Well, there's 3 4s, 2 5s, and 4 1s. So the first one is he sticks on his bet of 3 4s. The second one decides to up it to 4 5s in the first round, and the third one decides to try and go one better and go for 5 5s, and it just leaves the 2 of you to either up your bets or
3 5s.
so I was going for 3 5s.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you up your bet, you need to put in an extra silver.
Okay.
Okay. What about you, Claire? Are you gonna stick with your bet?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of them, sort of seeing that he thinks he's gonna be outdone, goes in quite bold and goes 6 6s. So it's kind of so he sort of like another one sort of like takes another peek at his own dice, has a bit of a think, and then sort of looks around at everyone, kind of like judging faces and things like that, and then decides to stick. The other one, looking at the bet of 6 6s, seems quite concerned, and both of you make insight checks for me.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's for sticks.
wrong one.
Cody's got very good insight.
So
Slightly good insight.
Arwen gets a better sense of this. Clary, you notice that one of them doesn't seem very confident in what they've got and one of them does, and one of them you don't really get a read on. Arwen, you get a read that the one that's gone for 6 6s is just a straight out kind of bluff. You think, like he's just gone big to try and sort of frighten the others off. And the other one is quite confident. It seems like in his bet. And then the third one seems to be quite reactive to the big bet and doesn't have any confidence, it seems, in his own thing, which is kind of driven home when he tries to top it and goes for 7 5s. He's trying to go for a higher number.
Right.
Which leaves the two of you with the final hands.
I can't even remember what my bet was. Was it 4 5s? Or 3 5s? I don't remember.
Your bet was 3 5s.
Yeah, cool. No, I'll stick with 3 5s, that's fine.
Stick with that. And Clary?
So I have to still bet on 6s, or does it just have to be a bigger number?
For example, if there aren't 6 6s in the pot, as it were, then the bet of 6 6s will be bust, and then you end up coming down. So then it's like anyone else who's bet 6s would be like next in line, and then you go. If no one wins on 6s, you go to anyone who's bet 5s.
I'm gonna stay.
You're gonna stay? Okay. I haven't kept track, so let's just have a quick look at what you've rolled. So there is. I rolled a 1, 2, 5, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 2, 3, 5. Let's go with that. And then Arwen rolled 6, 6, 2, 2, 3. Right. Okay. So they start slowly, one by one, revealing their dice. And one of them reveals their dice, and he's got 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. The next one reveals their dice, and they've got 1, 1, 3, 4, 6. So far there's 2 6s, and people start getting excited. Like, ooh. Third one reveals, and it's 1, 3, 5, 5, 6. So now sort of the big bets are 5 and 6. 3 5s and 3 6s have been revealed, but there's only 2 hands left. And they gesture to Arwen. So Arwen reveals her hand.
Hold on. Yeah, no, okay, so there's gonna be 5 6s. So that means...
Yeah, so there's this big excitement because there's 2 of you left to reveal your hand. Arwen lifts her cup up and reveals...
No. You bet 4 6s, didn't you? Or 3. How many 6 did you bet?
Me.
Mary did
Yeah.
bet 6.
3.
Oh, you bet
3
3 6s.
3. Okay. When can I do a sleight of hand thing and turn my dice over as I lift the cup?
You can try.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roll sleight of hand. There are going to be. 19. So Clary roll insight.
Me.
No, sorry, perception.
Perception.
15. Yeah.
My 2 6s are turning to like 1s or something, or whatever's next to a 6. I don't know.
I'm gonna allow you to change one of them.
One of them.
Yeah. Otherwise, trying to change more than one as you're like lifting off this cup is.
But I got nimble fingers.
If you want to change more than one, then you're gonna have to roll at disadvantage.
Okay. Well, wait. Did someone bet 5 6s?
Someone bet 6 6s.
No. But not 5.
And Clary bet 4 6s.
3 6s.
3 6s, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. I'll roll it again.
So you can. Yeah, you just sort of like put your finger on it and like flick the coin and it rolls over to something random. So one of your 6s becomes.
No.
Oh no!
Oh no! I accidentally hit it. It wasn't my fault. Oops.
So Clary, you spot this
Silly
attempted manipulation by Arwen. The I should roll 3. Oh, they all rolled shit anyway. The 3 orcs around, they seem to be in the cups somewhat, and they seem to sort of disregard you, and they're all sort of like staring each other down. So they don't actually notice what Arwen attempts. Clary, what do you do?
I say nothing.
Okay. Nothing. Reroll that 6. What's it coming out as?
Oh, it better not be a 6. If it's it can't be a 6, can
It
it?
is a 6.
I have 1.
So that 6 becomes a 1. Okay. So, Arwen reveals her hand, and it's not quite as exciting as it was initially going to be, but as the 6 is revealed, there are now 4 6s on the table, with just Clary left to reveal. So the one who's, like, bet 6 6s he's sort of, like, edgy, you know, when you're on the cusp of a good hand or something like that, you're like, come on. And it's down to Clary, who can slowly reveal her hand. And as no 6s are revealed, she sort of like bangs his hands on his legs, and curses and yeah. One of the orc who invited you to join in, Clary, because you had the bet of 4 6s. Was it 3 6s? 3 6s. No one else successfully bet on 6s. So this small stack of silver becomes yours. So you win. You win 7 silver off the crew. Plus, I think it's 2 off Arwen.
Yeah.
And then 2 silver off Arwen, and you reclaim your own stake.
So I get 10 back in total.
I think yes, you get 10 in total, including the 1 you put in.
Okay.
Yeah, and you are invited to play another hand if you wish.
I'm gonna pass.
You wanna pass?
She's taking all the money and she's running.
It's good strategy.
I'm gonna try and signal for. I've forgotten her name.
Stinks.
No, Arwen to leave. to another.
Let's go.
Okay, the two of you.
And when we're far away, I'm going to give her 5 of the
Oh,
silver.
the teamwork. Such generosity. Such generosity when the blatant cheating was caught. And
But I don't know what you mean.
Win, so I'm not going to call her out.
that's not what it sounded like to me, but
I was trying to help.
yeah, yourself. And so you enjoy another evening aboard the ship, and
I got many more where that came from.
indeed,
Many more stories where that came from.
6 has become a little bit of a hit. And indeed, you make you can enjoy another
Okay.
night's rest.
Or Mhm.
That's amazing.
The tale of how a great ogre and a donkey saved the princess.
Oh no,
Oh no.
that tale is so bad it's destroyed Abby's internet.
It's the clutches of Lord Fuckwad.
The evil gnome king.
The evil halfling king.
So one of the things I've seen pointed out from that movie is at the beginning when all the fairy tale creatures are being rounded up and things like that. There is a family of 3 bears. There's a mummy bear, a daddy bear, and a baby bear. And the mummy bear has a little pink bow in her hair, or like on top of her head. And then later on in the movie, on Lord Farquaad's floor, there is a bearskin rug with a little pink bow on it.
Oh my god! What the hell?
Yeah. Shrek gone dark. Obviously, she'll be back in a minute. My internet's just being flaky. Yes, it's a dark tale in the end.
Let me just.
We'll just chat amongst ourselves while we wait for things to reconnect. Yes. Life on the
Did
ocean.
they say where they were going?
They didn't even tell me the movie. They just overheard rooms or something on the table. Is it?
My dad was just wondering what was the call home. Of course, it was now like 9 o'clock and they're still not back.
It's fine. They're adult men. They can look after themselves.
They're adults.
Give it half an hour and they'll be sleepy and they'll want their beds and they'll come home.
This is very true. I already want my bed. Yeah.
Going to Luke's on Friday.
Mm.
Going to see Luke and Hattie and their new puppy.
Mm.
Which should be good.
Nice.
It looks like that. It's not very clear. My phone might the tiny wee puppy.
He's tried to contact her for a little while, but she hasn't picked up.
I could have gone far because they didn't keep the car. Either cars. I didn't see where you were, of course.
Well, we will carry on as best we can, I think, just for the time being.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. What did Abby say? Her internet's died. She'll be back in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, might now be a good time for like a 5-minute break then, and then
Yeah, let's do that. Let's take a
get back up,
quick,
plow on
let's take a
through.
break slightly early, and hopefully she'll be back in by the time we come back.
Yeah, sounds Frelo and Queen.
Okay, we are back. We have everyone back and present. So you are approaching the southernmost tip of this peninsula, and as you approach it is the city of Hanatan. You start to see a few more ships and things. You see sort of a couple of them, sort of a number of them that look like they've recently set off. It is a relatively sort of bright and clear day. A couple of them you do pick up on. Those of you with slightly higher natural perception. A couple of them seem to be in bad shape. There's one or two of the bigger ones that aren't running on all their masts. And then there's a couple of sort of little like fishing boats and things like that you can see even from a distance have had patches and repairs and things like that. Relatively recently, there's a lot of raw, much lighter looking wood that hasn't been darkened by the weather. And you can see on sections of some of them. The day passes. Again, it's an alright day. And you pull into this orc city. None of you has ever been anywhere like this before. It's you don't see barely anyone. It's 90% orc population. There are a few people mainly from sort of gnomes and dwarves who live in the nearby mountains. Are the closest race of people. There's a couple of humans, but you don't see any elves or anything like that. But it's also unlike any other sort of city you've been to. Every other city, even Denderport, was built at least partially out of stone and things like that. And the buildings and things, the cities seem to pride themselves on building higher. So they would try and build tall houses, townhouses, churches and towers and things like that. Here in a predominantly orc settlement, everything seems to be made from wood. They seem to be more simple structures. If anything's big, it's long and low and flat. So rather than an inn going up multiple stories and having a base of stone, something like that, an inn in an orc settlement would be, a very, very big building. It would take up a very large footprint, but it would be a single story. Things like that. So it doesn't encroach into the land very far. You guys do have sort of a few hours to stretch your legs and explore, but Ivan does give you sort of fairly firm instructions that he needs to be back within the time because the tide won't wait, and so therefore they won't wait. As you explore, most cities sort of tend to encroach into the land sort of a few miles, things like that, whereas it's very broadly spread out, and if you get more than sort of half a mile inland, the buildings and things dwindle very quickly. It seems like everything is built as close to the sea as possible. And the further inland you go, the higher, although it's still dominated by an orc population, this is the higher concentration of humans and dwarves and things like that are found further away from the sea, more inland. if there's anything in particular anyone wants to look for or anything like that, we can do that. Otherwise, we can carry on with the travel.
I don't know. Although I did want to point out, like, so when we get there, how are we planning on paying for the very, very expensive ritual thing?
With all the money that we've all saved up individually.
Because I know I've only saved up like, only got like 100, like maybe like 200 gold ish.
It'll be fine. We'll haggle if we have to.
I mean, I'm sure we'll probably figure it out, but
We'll steal it if we have to.
maybe don't say that out in the open. Don't whisper stuff like
Oh,
that.
okay.
Whisper
Maybe we'll steal it.
Oh,
okay, it's pointless doing that now. No, I don't think I'm not too bothered about exploring much. I'm probably quite just eager to get there. And I'm enjoying being on a boat.
Yeah.
I've received a number of comments about your hat sticks.
Excellent.
You're pretty sure most of them are genuinely complimentary. However, you do get the sense that maybe one or two have slightly taken the mick.
I'm almost tempted to buy like a, you know, like a falchion.
Yeah, that's
You know,
awesome.
like that, like something along those lines, something very piratey. But like just for this thing, like I'll keep my other sword somewhere on the boat or with someone. But then, like, I don't know. I shall think on this for a while.
So some form of like piratey cutlass.
Some form of piratey cutlass, indeed. I am tempted, but at the same time, we're not going to be sailing forever, are we? So
No,
Yeah,
no.
we'll
I
get
would probably
old
just rule
quickly.
that something like that would just come under basic short sword for you, if you did want to pick one up.
that's fair.
Why have you talked to Rolf? He's the ammunitions man. He's got to have a spare sword lying around somewhere.
I think I'm good. I think I'm good. You're good. The hat is enough, I think. Makes enough of a statement.
Okay, well, so the orcs resupply the boat, and everything is acquired and stowed. You know, water barrels and things like that are topped up. You know, supplies topped up, that sort of thing. And yeah, as you get underway again, you hear Ivan giving out some more calls, things, directions. You know, one of the things that sort of catches your ear is he gives a shout of, well, look lively. We need our wits about us on this lake. I've spoken to some of the other captains, and there have been some mixed reports, but it seems there's something inhabiting the bay that we need to look out for and potentially steer clear of.
Dang. Well, that doesn't sound fun.
A big sea monster.
Big sea monster.
We can befriend it and ride it.
Sure.
Sure.
Our first instinct is to befriend and...
Right.
I was going to say befriend and ride everything, but that's probably got the slightly wrong connotations to it.
That has definitely got the wrong connotations.
Swiftly on. Can everyone do, starting with Arwen, can you do survival checks again, please?
How many? 3 and
Until you
3.
got 3 passes and 3 fails.
Oops.
Yay. Two most differing rolls.
Okay, 3 passes.
Oh, thank God.
The DC has increased very slightly for the second leg.
Would you like to go next, dear? No. Oh no. Oh yes. Oh
That's also a
yeah.
pass.
Oh,
Passes as well.
she brings it back. If anyone was in the house here and there, that'd be very confusing.
6.
So,
Pass. It's fail.
uh,
That's fail.
uh,
That is just a pass.
oh,
And that's a fail.
uh,
Neo has also let you down again. So again, you get 2 passes, 2 fails.
Neo, you disappoint. How is Neo doing, by the way? Is he?
Yeah, he's doing generally alright. Sort of mostly sticking with one of you guys where, depending on what you get up to. You guys have had a relatively sort of free run of the deck and things like that. And as you, probably the day after you set out from Hanatam, the weather has turned slightly. In the morning, you're sort of woken up slightly earlier as the sea has become a little bit choppier. And as you step out on deck in the morning, you can see it's quite overcast. And indeed, as the morning wears on, the first sort of few raindrops start to drop down lightly on your heads and things. The crew is a little bit more active than it has been, just having to work a little bit harder to keep the ship on course and keep it moving smoothly. The wind is sort of is gusting a little bit, and is less consistent. Rather than blowing consistently out of one compass point to another, it's sort of crossing itself in little gusts and eddies, which is making it hard for them to capture a consistent wind. And it's sort of making the already slightly choppy sea even more choppier as the sails sort of pulled and lulled and pulled again. Indeed, sort of, you all end up feeling a little bit unwell. If everyone can make a Constitution saving throw.
Ooh.
I'm going to stop using those dice. They're rolling really low. Arwen, that's a pass. 6, that's a pass.
Oh, yeah, boy. What? Constitution saving throw.
And Clary, that's a pass. So the 3 of you are doing alright. Clary, you maybe feel slightly under the weather, but no ill effects. As the morning wears on, Neo turns from a distinct shade of green, which is quite impressive given the natural purple colour of his skin.
Neo's being possessed.
And you just find him at one point just sort of arms and head just hung over the railing at the back of the ship. As you walk up behind him, there's just this sort of and it's like, oh, Neo is well and truly seasick.
Arwen's sea-themed jokes aren't helping either.
There's no...
sea-themed jokes?
No.
Okay.
I regret saying anything.
There's
I
nothing.
did
There's
the
nothing
beach
to do.
blush.
Because see,
Because the seaweed.
that's the one I was gonna make.
Oh no.
Well, that's terrible.
Yes.
Terrible.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And as you gathered around Neo, who is being violently and impressively sick off the back of the ship, Duma wanders up with like a bucket in one hand and sort of like a couple of hammers and things like that. And in the bucket, you can see there are these big iron, like fisheye hooks. So there's these. They're like big circular rings with a pin sticking out in one direction.
Lovely.
And they say, I could do with an extra pair of hands. One of the lines has come loose, and we need several people to climb the mast. Indeed, if you look up at the top of one of the masts, there is a rope that's sort of hanging down. It seems like one of these big like eye hooks has rusted at some point and has snapped off, and the rope is no longer pulled taut up the mast as it should be.
Arwen, you're good at climbing, right?
I am good at climbing.
Alright. You gotta take care of this. Power on the back. And as I do, I will cast guidance.
Oh, thank you.
You can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to one ability check of your choice. You can roll the die before or after making the ability check. Then the spell ends. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum.
Yeah, Neo's is sort of there, and so he looks at you quite expectantly. Okay, yes.
Yes, yeah.
Starts handing you like a big hammer and like a length of rope to sort of tie yourself on, like round the mast with. And indeed, she like leads you over, and what they do, what she does is she puts a big loop around the mast, and then ties it on both sides of her belt, and then like sticks like a hammer and things through. And what she does is she like hooks her heels of her boots into the mast at sort of an outwards angle like that, and leans back on this rope, and then like sort of quickly like flicks it up, and then steps away up the mast, and then like flicks the rope up, and then leans back and takes 2 steps up the mast, and slowly she starts making her way up. You see she gets to the first cross piece of the sail and like clambers on, unties the rope, moves it around, ties it back on, and then like calls down to you like, come on, up you come, follow me.
Which check shall I use?
Make an athletics check to climb.
You can roll the d4.
And a d4.
16. Yeah. So it takes you a little bit. But you start to try and get the thing. First, you don't get it quite right. You lean in a little bit too much when you try and take your first step, and there's no like pull, and your heel just like kicks the deck. But you lean back more into the rope as you try again, and you start not quite as quickly, but slowly shimmying your way up the mast. Yeah, and you slowly make your way up mast. She waits for you again at the first cross section of the sail, and sort of like holds her hand to steady you as you untie and like move your rope around and tie back up, and then she starts heading off again. make another check for me. That's right. Yeah, you kind of got a hang of this now, and you're able to keep a pace as you go up the next section of the mast, and you get to the top of the sail this time, and are able to tie yourself off again, tie your rope, tie yourself off again, before you get to the third and final section. On this one, this is where there are a number of these rings hooked into the mast that you have to navigate around. But you can make another check to climb up. 8.
Oops.
It's quite difficult now with the wind. The rocking of the ship is much more accentuated by this, by the height that you've gained. And you do slip, but you don't slip too far. Your rope actually manages to catch on one of these metal hooks that is on the opposite side of the mast, and so you only fall about sort of between 5 and 10 feet. But it's before there's like this wrenching, you're caught by your belt and you smack solidly into the mast.
Arwen,
Yes.
do that.
Thank you, Sticks. I would be lost without you.
Yeah, your heart's beating
I
fast
know.
with this sudden drop, and you're like hugging the mast quite tightly as you find the courage to start climbing again. And you do just about. Duma comes down and sort of does it on a level with you, so it's like she does one, you do a hop, she does a hop, you do a hop, and guides you up the top. She's sort of almost side by side with you, and every time she does it, she takes her hand off and reaches out just in case he needs to grab hold of you. And the two of you get to work at the top, replacing. And what you end up doing is replacing a number of the rings, and so you start at the top, and Duma helps you work your way down, and you actually replace sort of 4 or 5, because it seems like now one's gone, they want to do them all at the same time. And while this is going on, at the bottom, Goran, the cook, comes up on deck and and tosses a big thing of dirty water over the side, it looks like. Turns to you, Sticks and Clary, says, I wonder if you couldn't give me a hand in the kitchen with the weather and the extra hands needed on deck. I'm running a little behind on the food.
I'm coming.
Much appreciated. They lead you down. Goran is this rather sort of, you've had a couple of conversations during meals and stuff like that. They are a very sort of portly but quite jolly, quite jolly orc. They're one of the few who don't seem to carry weapons with them. So while everyone sort of always seems to have a sort of a long knife or a short sword or something like that on them, there's a couple in these in various Cronests and castles and things with bows. Goran is quite a jolly, cheerful chappy, and doesn't spend most of their time below deck in the kitchen doing various things with food. Doesn't seem to worry about any other matters on the ship.
I think if something invaded, he could use one of the fish. Just
bonk them.
Yep. Absolutely.
Trauma with a fish.
Oh yeah.
1d6 fish damage.
Absolutely.
1d6 fish.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of damage is fish damage?
Just being hit with a fish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sticky.
But the only thing is that if it's a swordfish,
Oh, ooh.
is it then fish damage or is it sword
It
damage?
depends which part of the fish you use. Because if you hold the big nose and you use it to hit people, it's still fish damage. But if you hold the fish and stab them with the pointy bit, it's sword damage.
Ah.
Multi-purpose weapons.
Yeah. Depending on whether your enemy is resistant to fish.
Well, if they're another fish, you'd assume they're resistant to fish.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. I would just imagine a D&D character, his entire thing is before every battle he fishes. And then he comes back out, just uses the exotic fish he has to great effect. Throwing them, whacking people.
Yes. The longer and longer between fights, the more and more they smell.
Yeah.
Well, the longer and longer between fishing opportunities, and the integrity of the weapon slowly degrades.
Oh god, so by the end you're just holding like
A rotten
just
thing.
this stump.
Yeah, you hit someone with it, and it just explodes in fish guts.
Yeah. And then you're just sort of holding a tail and you're like, well this is not gonna work.
No.
I mean, I'd run if I got hit with fish guts.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, no.
No.
Like even when you're wearing armour and have a sword and everything, and this guy's just whacking you with a fish.
I'm out.
It was like
No
chainmail or
point.
something, and it got in like all the
Oh,
legs.
yeah.
Oh, it'd take
Oh,
forever
yeah,
to get out, and you'd smell. That's chemical.
Oh.
Fish oil
That
and
is. You may have killed me, but I'll make your life unpleasant.
That's the Arwen way.
well, that's slightly unpleasant, sir.
You may have
And
killed
that.
me, but I've stolen your boots.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Now you're getting it.
Indeed. Now you're cooking with portals.
Now you're thinking with portals.
Anyway, as you get down to the kitchen, there is a sort of a half stack of washing up that's done. That seems to be from sort of breakfast, you presume. And he also gestures to a large number of vegetables that need peeling. So, dealer's choice.
No offense, but I'm a paladin of Zuriel. I feel like I'm slightly overqualified to wash up, as it were. So I'm going to go cut the vegetables, if you don't mind my, if you don't mind me. And I'm just going to walk over and unsheath my long sword. And, just
And
start
smite the vegetables.
with my long sword. This is much more like it.
He just sort of shrugs up. Oh, okay. He's like, all he's doing, and so just turns and says,
Do I need to make a check?
yeah, if you want, you can make a dex check. Make a sleight of hand check to peel vegetables.
Excellent.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
These vegetables
Call me Ramsey.
excellently peeled and sliced.
Oh. Well, that's what they say. Do D&D to live out your wildest fantasies. Excellent cook.
Indeed. And so the rest of the day passes. The weather doesn't seem to get any better. The rain gets a little bit heavier. The wind sort of settles a bit, but the rain settles in. And it's quite people sort of tend to eat at sort of slightly different times, and so things were never that crowded below deck. But as the evening settles in, it gets a little bit more crowded as the majority of people are staying inside, and people are more sort of eating their meals together. So it's a little bit noisier, a little bit rowdier on deck. Again, there are various sort of storytellings going on. There's a couple of different sort of card games going on, things like that you can entertain yourself with if you wanted. Again, Felix seems to be leading the storytelling, and would certainly be open if anyone had a story they wished to tell. success of Six's story the night before.
Seeing as we're on a boat, has anyone ever heard the story of a rather small mermaid? It is the tale. All this time. Oh no! Wait, wrong one.
Oh, I just got that.
That's about the beauty and the beholder. No, I think I'll leave the storytelling for this evening. Allow others to shine. Although I've got this a rather small mermaid in my back pocket just in case the night's lousy.
Anyone for any sort of cards or anything like that?
Oh yeah. If anyone else wants to, I'll cheat again.
Yeah, sure.
Team cheating.
Play D&D for just card games. In my first session with Chantel in our Zelda one, I think we spent half an hour doing the little carnival games there because she really liked the gambling.
Yeah, so there seems to be a number of card games going on, and the one that probably catches your attention this evening seems to be a series of direct one-on-ones. And so, where you if you study for a little bit, you can learn the way it's played. It seems quite simple. Each player draws one card from the deck, and it's a case of high card wins. And so you place your bet based on the card you've drawn, and then you draw a second, and then it's the total of those two, and you place a second bet, and then you draw a third, and it's the total of those three. And so, each time you can choose to. You can keep the same. If both parties are like, no, we'll just keep it, you can just progress to the next round. But if someone's feeling confident, you can up it, and it's then on the other side to match.
Fuck.
If anyone wants to play.
I will play against somebody.
Yeah, there seems to be quite a few people. As I say, it's a bit more crowded down here, so there seems to be sort of the game of choice that's going on, because you can get lots of games between a couple of people, and everyone can sort of have a bunch of goes of winning and losing, and everyone sort of feels like they come out even at the end of the evening. But yeah, Arwen, you're going first?
Mm-hmm.
You've got physical dice with you, haven't you? Because that'd be the best to do this. Okay.
I do indeed.
You need a D6, a D8, and a D10. D6, D8, and... Okay. So, you sit down. To play with an orc you've come to know as Noah.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the younger orcs. And so roll your d6, but don't tell me what you get, okay? Because I will actually this against you.
Okay.
This is why you do it physically rather than rolling on Roll20.
The battle of the ages.
So we use the dice instead of the cards. So he draws his card. He's quite confident. He's going to bet a silver on the first round.
Okay.
So you can match or raise depending on
I'll match.
Okay, so you match with the silver.
Mhm.
Okay. Roll your d8. As he went first last time, it indicates it's your turn to. You can stick, you can raise. The total bet, it's up to you.
I'll stick.
Also, bear in mind that these are common people, and so they're not going to be able to go with like 50 gold and stuff like
I
that.
will stick to this.
Okay. He will stick with you as well then, seeing that you're going to stick. And then yeah, he sticks on the third one as well. So roll your d10.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did.
He sticks as well. On the third one, and offers you the chance to raise.
No.
Okay. Then nice and quick. Then comes the reveal. He has got a total of 7.
What happened? We got the same.
You've got a tie.
Mhm.
It's a draw. Yeah, it's a very casual game. They're not going to have winners, so you both just reclaim your silver and shake hands on a good game.
Oh, okay.
No one wins.
Fair enough.
It's nice and easy.
Okay.
Quick. This is one of the reasons why they sort of play it. There's so many people because everyone can have lots of little games. Lots of people can win and lose and what have you. Anyone else playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, Clary's gonna play. So same process. Roll your d6.
D6.
Yeah. Again, I'll offer you. Do you want to go first or second? I'll offer this.
Second.
Second, okay. So you end up playing against one of the more seasoned women on female orcs by the name of Hildy. So she sort of like studies you quite shrewdly, looks at you and places down 1 silver and 2 copper.
I'll match it.
Okay. Yeah, so next round, roll your d8.
That one. No, not that one. The Diamond Demon, which is this one.
Okay.
So as she went first in the first round, you to bet first in the second round.
I'm gonna keep it the same.
Okay. She's going to see that, and she's going to raise you by not by much, just by another 3 copper. So it's now 1 silver and 5 copper. So you need to either match that or fold, basically.
Oh, I'll match it.
Okay. And then you move on to the third round.
What dice is the third one?
That's a d10. So she's like looking at the cards and trying to give you sort of quite a shrewd look over the top of the cards she's got in her hand, sort of keeping quite a blank, trying to keep a blank expression on her face. Sort of looks at she's got like a little pile of sort of coppers and silvers next to her. Sort of picks up a couple and then just puts them back. Decides not to raise or anything like that.
Okay.
So leaves it up to you if you want to.
Cool. No, I'll stay.
Stay. Okay. Then comes the reveal. She pulls sort of quite a sour face and lays the cards down. She's only got a 5 total.
Oh, I got 10.
Nice. Well, you win your winnings. So you get one silver and 5 copper. 6. Do you want to play?
Oh, go on then.
Go on. Alright.
Go on then.
So the D6 first.
Oh, let me grab my dice. Ah. Alright, D6.
You end up
Hiya.
playing this first game against Felix, who seems to have taken a break from the story circle. Comes down, sits down, and pulls like quite a weighty pouch it seems, and like thunks it down on the bench and like fishes inside. And already before he's even seen his first card, he lays down 2 silver.
Oh. I will raise.
You want to
To 3
raise
silver.
to 3 silver. It's like, ho ho, well, big spender. And immediately matches you.
Oh.
But he counts this one out in coppers, so it's 2 silver and 10 copper.
Lovely. Alright.
And then you'll offer the choice of first or second.
First.
Okay.
No, second.
Okay. So if you roll your d6.
I have rolled my D6 here.
Okay. So roll your d8.
Alright.
He sort of draws his card and smiles at it. Reaches into his pouch and pulls out another silver, stacks it up on top. Like a little tower of coins, up to 4 silver now.
I'm pulling out 2 more silver.
So you're up to 5.
So,
Or,
Yes.
Or you 2 more
I'm
on top
now
of
up to
his.
5. I'm raising
Okay.
5.
You sort of raise an eyebrow. Yes, oh, okay, we're going for it. And matches. And then sort of hovers his hand and just decides to cheekily raise you one copper. So you now have 5 silver and 1 copper in.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, go on then. Okay.
Go on.
So the D10.
The D10. Oh, what have man doing?
That might have been my undoing, Stick says as he draws his card. No, it's fine, you don't. Yeah, so he kind of looks at it and goes, sort of just like, looks at the silver, looks at his pouch and like, that'll do. Follow me, that is enough.
Alright. That'll do. I agree.
He's drawn an 11 total.
Ha! Ha! Peasant numbers. I've drawn a 17 total.
Oh, a confident win.
I got a 6 on the D6, a 7 on the D8, and a 5 on the D10.
Oh, big numbers. He also got a 6 on the D6, so was feeling confident going in.
Ha!
Big boy.
I've never gambled before. This is excellent. Only win my life. Every time I draw my sword.
Yeah, if you want to play over the course of the evening, everyone roll a d20, and we won't play 100 games. We'll just sort of to see how your luck fares over the course of the evening.
I'll tell you what, I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling less confident.
If you've got a limit on how much you want to lose up to, then let me know. You won't lose more than 9, or gain more than 9, more than 10 either.
This is all very new to Sticks, so I think he's just going on 90% of the time. He's like, this is fun. I'm having fun. Oh, I've lost a load of gold. It's fine. I'll make it back.
Despite your big winning in the first hand, Sticks, over the course of the evening, you make a series of considerably rash bets on hands, and you end up down 5 silver overall for the evening. Arwen, you actually have a better evening. Your tight draw in the first hand, you managed to eke out a series of close but well-placed wins to overcome a couple of small losses, and you come out 7 silver on top.
Yay!
Unfortunately, Clary, you end up down 3 silver from where you started. Again, playing quite shrewdly, but just the luck of the draw is not on your side tonight.
Well, turns out.
Yeah, it is as you make your way back across a slightly darker ship towards your cabins, you spot, sort of sat in a corner on a barrel, a few pieces of paper around their feet, sitting on this barrel, is the younger orc Noah, who you first played against. Seems to be in the process of failing to write something down. You see he's got sort of a couple of balled up pieces at his feet.
You're right there. You're right there, buddy.
Yes, just trying to put some words on paper. It's proving difficult.
What words? I'm quite the linguist.
Well, it's a little awkward. I'm trying to write a letter to send to someone from my village.
Right, I see. Here's what you do. You go in hard. You go in with things you can actually achieve. Because there's nothing worse than sending a death threat, which you can't actually. Realizing now you probably meant a love letter. This is very awkward. I've never wrote a death threat.
He's a little bit alarmed. He sort of starts just pushing the piece of paper slightly further away. It's like, yes, it wasn't that sort of letter.
I had to write one to a bear once. It wasn't very nice.
A love letter to a bear?
No, a death threat. It was horrible.
I'm not quite sure whether or not you're joking, because obviously bears can't read.
Can't they?
No.
But did my 7-year-old brain know that? No, it did not.
Yes, he's like, well, I'm just struggling with what to say. I was hoping this job would give me the opportunity to prove myself, build up my skills and within my teeth. But it's taking a long time, and I do not think she will wait. I have to do something soon to prove myself, but don't have the opportunity to compete often when working.
To what compete?
Yes. Do you know about? What do you know about this?
I
know you have a mean right hook.
Both technically true. I meant more general about our society, about our ways.
You like the sea?
The sea.
That we do. The sea is home. The sea is.
That is.
The sea is. Brings life.
Sea is life.
The sea brings life to all. Yes.
Except for those who can't breathe underwater.
That is why we sail upon it.
Excellent point. Well done. Well done. But no, otherwise I don't really know much. Do I know anything about orcs? Is there a check for that, or?
Yeah, you know a little bit, as you say. They are green for the most part, Arwen. They do love the sea. They are a very seafaring race of people, and you know that a lot of their society is built on strength. So, a little bit of might is right and that sort of thing. Contests of feats of strength and things like that are used to prove themselves. And what Noah will explain to you is they have something that they take part in periodically is shark diving, which takes place in Sharktooth Bay. And one of the reasons it gets its name is because the object of the event is to claim shark's teeth.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah, and so Noah will show you. He will pulls out his necklace that has this single tooth on it, and he shows you the
Yeah, she's in here.
puncture mark in his forearm from where he got it.
Good night. Hello. Ring my Ben's there.
Hello, Ben.
Hi, Raymond.
Oh, there's Ben.
1 sec, sorry.
Thanks. How are you? Yeah, good.
Coming out.
Everything all right?
Gives me an
Yeah.
opportunity to pull
Good.
out my notes and find the right.
Do I know? Yeah.
Because I've had this written down for a long time. It is in a different document.
I'm going to bed. Good morning. Good morning.
And I don't want to print all these out. It would be so much easier if I printed everything out and had like a paper copy. But when I make additions and changes, I don't want to have to reprint pages 4 and 5.
Hello. I'm back. You were saying puncture marks on his arm.
Yeah, he's got this big puncture scarf, and so this is the wound I got claiming my first tooth. But
Ow!
if you ever get a chance to see the captains, it is most impressive. Yeah, and we'll tell you that this is sort of the main thing that orcs base their strength on, and their sort of prowess on, is how many teeth a person has acquired throughout their life. And we'll sort of also explain that no one buy it's kind of it's not even considered that anyone would buy teeth or anything like that, or trade or anything like that. No one would steal. It's this massive taboo to do anything like that, because these teeth are seen as currency as well in the afterlife. So the more you acquire in life and are subsequently buried with, the better standing you'll have in the afterlife. So to steal someone else's teeth is not only diminishing their life after death, but it's also effectively cursing yourself by paying with false currency that you haven't earned.
Oh. Yeah, that's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, so spend some time explaining that.
Not gonna lie, orcs are fucking rad.
Yeah, they are. So if you ever, seen, and there are some exceptions, like priests and things like that, do have some slight exemptions and stuff, because they hold a slightly different place with their relationship to God, and the gods and things. But for the most part, everyone is. And you get the general impression that they're a pretty well balanced race of people. They don't seem to hold some of the same gender stereotypes as sort of humans do with sort of roles that people sort of should fulfill and those sorts of things. It's a pretty good mix. You wouldn't, and one of the things you probably wouldn't expect to necessarily find a ship with certainly not as many like women on it. If they were like human or something like that, you wouldn't find a ship that was so well mixed and things. And this seems a pretty like average way of doing things with the split of people. You get the impression talking to him. And he kind of finishes off with like, yeah, and I don't know what to say to convince her to give me a chance to prove myself. I just need some time.
Then, fake your death.
How about that?
It'll give you time, and then when you return,
She'll be traumatized.
she will.
She's not gonna wait for you to die.
Hello.
It's not going to go with that one. That seems if I am dead, then what would she wait for?
Her heart will be broken,
I see.
and therefore she would not want anyone for a little while, giving you a bit of time.
I think you overestimate her affections for me at the moment.
Yeah, maybe.
Awkward.
I'm not gonna do people things. Not gonna lie. I had a relationship once with a squirrel. Apparently, I don't remember what happened.
So,
It was on my foot. Well,
oh,
very weird.
He just sort of looks at you, and this seems to be the final sort of mad, out of context rambling that kind of like seals the conversation. He's like, sort of, well, it was good to share. But maybe I will give it up for tonight and try again tomorrow. And sort of scoops up his, like, scraps of paper and heads off towards his bunk.
You know what? As he's sort of heading off, I'll sort of go, like, don't give up. You can do this. I'm gonna give him some guidance. Subtly guidance him, so that he might hopefully be able to write a little better. Do the good.
Excellent.
Do the good right, as it said.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you make your way back to your cabins and settle down for another evening. Arwen, as you're heading off to sleep, Hugo seems a little bit more agitated than normal, for whatever reason. You're not quite sure. Doesn't seem to want to. He's sort of pacing backwards and forwards a little bit on the floor. Doesn't seem to have settled as he would normally do.
I know I can't talk to him. Okay, does Beast Bond work with him?
What does Beast Bond do?
Oops.
Beast. It says one beast,
Oh, it's
which is
Beast, isn't it?
beast is a type of creature.
Yeah.
And he is technically a dragon. So no.
Wait, does he understand? He understands me if I speak with animals, doesn't he?
No,
But But he just can't.
He understands you anyway.
Oh yeah, he just
Because
doesn't.
he's
Yeah.
he just can't speak, and he communicates by he can convey simple ideas and emotions and images to you.
Okay, I'm gonna ask him what's wrong.
The bad.
Bad
You
things
get
are
sort of
bad.
a flurry of images which have no that have no meaning, and are just confusing. And it's as you are sort of thinking that doesn't make any sense, and you land on the word confusion or like confusing, you get kind of like a yes feeling from him. It's like, yeah, he's got this sort of confusion at the moment.
Oh, does he know why he's confused, or is he just confused about being confused?
He's just confused about being confused, it seems.
Oh, I want to scoop him up and give him a cuddle. Because I don't know what to do.
He like settles your arms a little bit, and you feel that connection to him. This band of the lightly coloured skin on your hand that you've got, this bond that you formed with him when he hatched, sort of glows and tingles a little bit more. And you drift off to sleep. And while you are asleep, you dream. But you dream a slightly unusual dream. It doesn't have the same randomness, the same naturalness of a regular dream to you.
You dream a dream of time gone by.
I knew you were going to do that.
Sorry.
Yeah, so this dream, it starts off quite hazy, and it's almost, there's sort of, the image blinks several times before it resolves into focus, but as it resolves into focus, you can also see that it's tinted. The whole thing is tinted this sort of greenish colour, that sort of reminds you of a colour you think you've seen, but in that moment you don't quite remember what it relates to. And standing in a circular room with a circular stone table, carved with runes around the edge, is an elf and a dwarf. The elf is a high elf. She's standing there very tall and proud, with her arms sort of folded behind her back, looking, head angled down, looking over the table. And the dwarf seems to be gesturing and gesticulating quite wildly. Indeed, after a moment, a tiefling appears sort of from your point of view, like below, seen from behind, with these curved horns, these ram-like horns that spiral back from their temples, and they touch several of the runes on the table in sequence, and the circle in the middle lights up, and it seems like it's pulled up an image of some topography. This is showing a map of some area, and they touch a couple more runes, and it zooms in, focusing on one section, and you can see there's an image of a castle, and surrounding the castle is this dead landscape. They touch several more things, and this dead landscape seems to grow, and over the over the top of the map, you see like a little sun and moon chasing each other very quickly, as it seems that they are sort of fast forwarding time in some way. And indeed, you count, and then you start losing count as the numbers, and it gets faster and faster and faster. And you just hit, the tiefling says, in a voice that you sort of recognise, in 6 months it'll go from this to this, and you can see that the dead area has expanded vastly. It now, rather than just being a small area around this castle, is now this expansive desert encapsulating mountains and a huge area of land. And it's, unless we do something quick, unless something is agreed and we arrange an alliance, unless we can work together, there is nothing that will stop him. And at that point, your vision flickers again. This filter over it disappears, and you hear the sound of a leathery set of wings flap, and then everything fades to black.
Oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. How long have we been in Tenderport for?
Like a week or so.
Okay.
Not very long.
Okay. We have 6 months until everything goes bad. Because all of the stuff has started dying when we were walking back from wherever we were before. And oh no. Oh no.
What's killing it?
It's the man! The bad man!
The bad...
The big bad man!
Oh god. Well, shit got real.
Do I remember any of the places from...
Yeah, one of the things is the map, when you saw it in its entirety, you didn't recognize... Well, actually, make a perception check for me. So you recognized some of the features of it, but it seemed different. So it looked like Kavran. However, things were different. Like, it still had mountains on it, but there was no islands listed. Either off to the northeast to where you'd find the Shattered Shore, or down to the southwest where you'd find Velenmore and things like that. It seemed it was more hazy in some of the areas. Like, it showed the edges of the mountains in the south, but it didn't show much beyond them. Like, they didn't really know, like it wasn't plotted.
Do I know where they were?
No, they were just in a room. So
Okay.
You didn't have any outside landmarks of that room.
I didn't know if it was like Google Maps, where it starts where you are and it expands out.
It didn't seem to be.
Okay.
One of the things as well is you didn't recognize the elf or the dwarf, but the elf was dressed in a fashion that you didn't recognise. It's possible that it was just either unique or some, lordly fashion, but you kind of would have expected to see some semblance. You've met a couple of sort of high-ranking elves, and you'd sort of expect there to be a level of resemblance in the way they dressed and things like that, but you didn't see any. And then there was also, but you managed to see their faces of the elf and the dwarf, and then there was also this tiefling that you didn't recognize. Well, you didn't get to see his face, so you couldn't recognize him from his face. But you did. His voice had some familiarity to it.
It's just 5,000 years ago.
fine.
It's Neo and all of those people in the stones. Oh no. Bad times. Oh well. History repeats itself, boys. Oops.
Rude, aren't we?
Oh, we're gonna have to save the world. Oh. I just wanted a nap.
Just an innocent nap.
All I did was walk through a forest, and now this.
Yeah. It's fun.
I only came out here to see some stuff. Saving the world.
Well, can you imagine these things happening to just
the
regular
world?
people?
I know.
I don't
Oh,
really see how my mentor expects me to go from saving the world to protecting a small patch of forest. But hey, I'm sure it'll be fine. Oh, something I can do in retirement, I suppose.
you can put it on your CV.
Yeah.
And you get the sense that maybe there was more to learn. Maybe there was more that you could have seen if you weren't shaken awake by the ship rocking and pitching violently and suddenly.
Stupid ship.
There is a huge sort of shout that goes up, and bells sort of start being rung. Alarms are being raised.
Uh-oh. Monsters.
You hear the sound. Many people sort of moving, toing and froing. The panic shout drifts up through the corridor. Water! We're taking on water! Buckets! Bring buckets! Bring planks!
I am not drowning at sea.
And then something else. Again, the ship is rocked again. There's another huge impact, and there's shouts of. You hear confusing shouts like "Up on deck! Up on deck! No, down! We need to repair the ship." Things like that. You hear shouts. These sort of mild sounds of drifting sort of through the thick boards inside the ship. You hear this sort of chittering and sort of creaking sound. What are you all going to do?
I'm getting up above.
Yeah, me too.
Up.
Make sure everyone's awake and head up to the deck, see what's going on.
Yeah, all of you heading up on deck.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Alright, let me just sort out a couple of things real quick. So, let's bring you over to Ha. This lovely map of the ship that I've got.
Ooh.
So as you can see, there's the wheel, there's the two ballista at the back, there's the one at the front. And indeed, as you enter from this, there's the front and rear raised sections. As you get out on the main deck in the middle, there is this huge splintering crash. You can actually see the remnants of the rear right ballista come sort of flying over your heads and crashing onto the deck. And looking to your right, you see this colossal, this gargantuan giant crab with its pincers reaching over the ship. It is absolutely huge.
They're crabby.
It is ridiculous beyond all proportions. It does seem to be moving quite slowly, but yeah, it seems that this is the thing that has impeded the ship.
Well, no.
So, if no one's got any objections, roll initiative.
I object.
Okay.
Oh, what?
I mean, I don't really want to go first, but
How does one kill big crab?
Alright.
is a crab a beast, an animal, or something else?
It's a monstrosity, this one.
Jesus
I was gonna
Christ.
say that. I was gonna say probably yeah.
So first we have
I
Arwen,
would like a monstrosity in some sort.
then we have
Oops, sorry, click the wrong button.
Clary, then Neo, then El Crabo, then Styx. Arwen, we dive right in with you. We'll probably get through 2 rounds of this, I think, before we stop. Depending on
Okay.
how it goes.
Okay, is this like... no, that's a bad
looking
idea.
at this, this crab, there's each of these arms are sort of on reaching up on these decks, and then the main sort of body is slightly lower in line with the center piece, and it looks like you could attack each of these in part components individually.
Oh, okay, cool. I am going to put Hunter's Mark on it.
Which bit are you targeting?
It's big old head,
You're putting it on the head, okay?
yeah, and shoot it
Yeah.
with an arrow. Yes.
Yeah, there's this sort of, there's these, even for this size, these seem like quite small beady eyes, and there's this little, like, sort of, these small, like, tentacles, like, waving around what looks like its mouth. It's sort of, like, hissing and foaming a little bit. 23, yeah, that definitely hits.
Ooh,
Sploosh.
yowza.
Kapow. Sploosh. Kasploosh.
4 damage.
That is insane.
That's piercing damage, right?
Yep.
Oh, wait, it's not all piercing damage, though, is it? Because it's 12 piercing damage, and then it's 12 magic damage, isn't it? Hunter's Mark doesn't have a damage type.
Hunter's Mark, as far as I'm aware, is just the same damage as your weapon was.
Oh, right.
You just use, because it's divination, I sort of see it as, personally,
Okay.
anyway, you're the DM, but I see it as like, you just hitting it a bit harder.
Yeah, that makes sense.
like- Magically being allowed to see into its defenses a little and hit it a bit harder.
Yeah.
Having
That's
marked
fair.
it.
Okay, so we'll say that's 16 piercing damage, and then 8 like magic damage from the Colossus Slayer. So the arrow, while you hit with it, it's got this very hard sort of scaly carapace, this rock-like shell encasing it, and it seems that while you've pierced through it, you haven't quite had the effectiveness. It seems to be resistant to the piercing arrow.
Okay.
So 16 halved is 8, so 8 is 16, that's total.
I'm done.
No second attack?
Well, it doesn't. Has it done anything?
You've got multi-attack. Remember?
Yeah, but like, has the
Yeah, the
has
arrow has
shooting
an
it actually?
effect.
Oh,
It's
okay. I thought it
not
didn't really do
as
anything.
effective. It's resistant.
Okay.
So in terms of mechanics, it's resistant to 18 hits.
Kapow. Close.
This is pretty hard to miss.
So that's 16 halved to 8. While it's a very big target, it also seems very well armoured with these this hard carapace that it's got. Is that everything, Arwen? Okay, Clary.
Clara is experiencing some technical difficulties.
Okay. No worries, take your time.
It's too hard, and now she's dying.
It's when you roll out that like salty tang in the air just catches you. It's a bit of like sea spray, just as you try to breathe in, you just breathe in a little bit of sea spray that gets you.
The Doritos have been her downfall.
They
2d4
are the downfall
Dorito
of
damage.
Many a mighty warrior has been downed by the Doritos.
Have been felled by a Dorito, edge piercing the side of their throat.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Clary's she regained her composure.
I think losing composure is acceptable and seeing a gargantuan, monstrous crab.
Yeah. I don't know what to do. It's so big. Where do you even hit? Can I like sneak attack it?
What are the conditions of sneak attack?
I don't know.
Sneak attack.
Advantage on
You
the roll
need advantage
or
on the roll.
in 5 feet.
Yeah. Or if an enemy of the target is within 5 feet of it.
These claws are like over these upper sections, so technically none of you are within the range of those claws at the moment. Yeah, if you stay back, it can't quite like grab down because of these upper decks. So currently no one is within 5 feet of any of the targetable sections.
I'm gonna shoot it with my crossbow.
Okay, which section are you going for?
Does it have a face? Do crabs have faces?
Yeah,
What's that face?
yeah. So there's the body section right in front of you here. You can go for, or you do think that if you targeted a claw specifically, you could potentially affect that individually. It's so massive.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for this one.
Okay. Yeah, gonna shoot the claw. Go for it.
Ooh.
24. That's definitely a hit.
Oh, 9. That's full
9
damage.
damage.
Yeah. Good choice.
Yeah. So you whip out this little crossbow, and this claw is you spy on the upper deck above you, and you just take aim and poof, manage to pull off a shot. And finding a weak point in one of the joints, it sinks home. Again, the piercing damage doesn't seem to be quite as effective as you would expect against a regular target, but it has lodged in and done some damage. Anything else on your turn?
No, that's it.
Okay. We go to Neo then, who is going to run 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. He's going to run up here and take 2 swings at the claw. Oh, one of those is a natural 20.
Very nice.
And the other one is a miss. So, let me find my dice. So that is, as we do put it slightly differently, so that's 1d10 plus 3, so that's 13 base, and then 3 on top for 16 slashing damage. He's also going to burn a spell slot on a Divine Smite, which is 2d8.
Yep.
Where have my d8s gone? There's one there and one there. Okay, 13. Okay, so he deals 16 slashing damage, and as you see him make this cut again, there's sort of grinds off the outside of this armored carapace, not having quite the effect of this slashing damage. But it's only half, it's 8 slashing damage, but he does take the full 13 radiant damage. 21 total. And that's Neo's turn. So next is Le Crab. This sheet opens. There we go. And it's going to target. The crab fires this water jet in a 30-foot cone across the lower section of the deck from its mouth, sort of hissing as sputtering. This jet of water comes out and strikes all 3 of you. Can you all make a dexterity saving throw, please?
Cool.
Clary. Okay, so Clary passes, Styx and Arwen fail. So you both take 9 bludgeoning damage from the force of this water. Clary, you only take half, so you take 4. You're able to sort of dodge the jet better. This force of water just slams into you. And is then going to make a claw attack against Neo, which will hit and deal a number of damage. What is it? 2d8. That's a chunk of damage. Clunky damage. Sorry, I just need to do maths. Okay. That is everything on the crab's turn. Styx.
How tall is this crab?
How tall?
Like,
it's probably like the body is probably sort of currently like 10 to 15 feet, like over the deck.
10 to 15 feet over the deck. Okay.
Yeah.
And how tall is the mast?
The mast. Oh, the mast is 50 feet tall, something like that. Yeah, the mast is is way taller.
Okay. Styx turns, takes off his hat, puts it on Clary's head, and merely says, I'm gonna do something stupid. Take care of my hat. 5, 10, begins climbing some of the rope.
Okay. So you've got 20 feet of movement, so you can get 10 foot up the rope.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to dash
Okay.
a further, as far as I can get up. It's like 15 feet
Yep. Okay.
up.
So you're now 25 foot up. Up the
Yep.
rigging.
Oh my god, this was such a stupid. Actually, no, it's not. Maybe not a stupid idea. I just realized I was like, oh, I could have just bonus action Misty stepped onto that. I was like, oh no, wait, I might need that to get off. I'm sure it'll be fine. And I'm going to hold there
Okay.
because that's all I can do. Just holding onto the rigging.
All right. Okay, so at the end of your turn, we go back to Arwen.
I'm going to shoot it again.
Okay.
Oh wait, am I meant to do a
It's a
thing?
concentration save for Hunter's Mark.
What do I click? I've forgotten.
It's a Constitution saving throw for Hunter's Mark.
Oh, okay, thank you. Oh well, that's gone.
Yeah, that has gone.
Oof.
18 hits.
And that one. Ugh. It's terrible.
That is 6 piercing damage, halved. No, 12 piercing damage, halved to 2/6. Is that to the body again?
Yeah.
Okay. And then 2 regular damage. 8 total.
Ugh, 12 probably doesn't it? That's terrible.
No, 12 does not hit.
Carry on.
Okay. If that's everything on your turn, then Clary.
To the queen.
What's
Like 120 feet.
okay? That's fine. I'm gonna attack it with a firebolt.
Yeah, go for it. 25, that hits.
Ooh.
9 fire damage. So you conjure this firebolt and cast it out, and this fire splashes against the armor, and this thing sort of, you hear it sort of screeching as it gets burned by the flames. Yeah, 9 damage. Is that again to the body? I'm assuming.
No, to the
Oh, to the claw.
glory.
To the same claw. Okay.
Alright, actually.
Yeah, this firebolt it doesn't seem resisted in any way. You see, there's this big like scorch mark and blackening on the outside of the carapace. And you see its claw just like sort of it raises its claw very slightly, as sort of like flinching away. Anything else you'd like to do?
No.
And
Okay, so
you also now have my hat.
Yes, we'll give it.
Take goddamn care of it.
Okay. Neo will have his turn against 2 attacks. Again, only one of them is going to hit. But he does roll max damage against this claw. So that is. So this claw that's taken this significant cut from Neo and also been like hit by this fireball. It really didn't seem to like this fireball. It almost like exposed a weakness in it. Neo like swings in and rams the glaive in, and like it almost halts for a second and then like punches through this carapace. And you hear this horrible like chitinous like screeching as Neo pulls this thing out, and there's sort of like this oozing liquid comes out, and the crab sort of rapidly like pulls the claw like close and under itself. It seems like this claw has been wounded to such a degree it feels the need to protect itself. And as a result, at the end of Neo's turn, it's going to take a legendary action, and it's going to submerge itself in water. So it still leaves this one right-hand claw up on the deck, sort of like waving and snapping around, but the body itself submerges and sticks, sort of looking down over it. You can see it's sort of almost like there's almost like this little whirlpool that appears in front of it as it seems like it's sucking in a large quantity of water again. I mean, you can still just about see it. It doesn't seem like it's very deep below the water, but it is submerged in water now.
Alright. Crabs breathe underwater.
I don't know. I don't know. I think so, because they spend a lot of time in water to not be able to.
I'd assume they can.
Yeah. Yeah, and then actually, subsequently, it is the crab's turn. So it rises out of the water again, and once again targets this cone of water across the deck. Styx, you are safe above it, having climbed. But both Clary and Arwen, can you make dexterity saving throws again, please? That's a pass from Arwen.
Thank God.
And a pass from Clary, so you both take half damage. That's 11, which is halved to 5. So you both take 5 bludgeoning damage. Yeah. It is also... I can't move it on that screen, I need to move it on this screen. It's also going to... Oh no, I didn't mean to open that. It moves, you see it, like this claw sort of crabs. It crabs sideways underwater. This one claw reaching towards people on the deck. As its body moves as well. Moves up. It's going to make a swipe against Arwen. It's going to be oh no, it's not. It's no longer submerged, so it's going to be regular. That's a natural 1 though, so that misses. Just automatically misses. It's almost trying to swipe through this cone of water, and so it seems like can't quite see you, and seems to be sort of slightly unbalanced in the water, having pulled this one claw in. Actually, need to okay. And it confidently misses you. Styx, your turn.
Time to do something stupid.
Okay.
Can I leap onto the crab?
Yes. You're about, what did we say, 30 feet up?
I'm about 25 feet up.
25 feet up, and so it's 15 feet up, so you're going to take 1d6 of falling damage.
That is perfectly fine.
Okay. So yeah,
and as I'm falling, can I attack it?
Yeah. So you take 4. So you, I'm picturing some sort of heroic like falling sword thrust.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So make an athletics check to jump the distance. You'll be able to hit it regardless. It's just a question of whether you land on the crab or whether you sort of fall past it, and because the rigging goes in as well, so you're having to sort of jump out.
So you're saying it's an automatic hit?
No, I'm saying you'll be able to make your attack.
Oh, right. Okay.
but it's a question of whether
Right.
you land on it or whether you land
Ballpark.
on the deck and hit it on and make your attack on the way down.
Right. I get you.
So you
Okay.
take you take 4. Yeah, okay, that's fine. You're able to like push off, and the rigging's fairly tight, so it's got a little bit of like spring to it that you manage to like distribute your weight and push without slipping, and you use it to like propel yourself this sort of 10 feet that you need forwards. And so as you're coming down, you go forwards enough to just land on top. You take 4 bludgeoning damage as you land from the fall, but you can now make your attacks. You can make both attacks from this position if you wish.
I'm going to be. So the first attack, I imagine I'm doing as I'm falling.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my inspiration to gain advantage.
Well, if you want to save that inspiration, I was going to say you can take advantage anyway because of the momentum of the falling strike.
Okay.
So you can have advantage on the first attack anyway.
Oh Lord, thank you.
So that's an unnatural 20.
Didn't matter in the end, but whatever. I'm assuming that hits.
Yeah, that does hit.
Cool. I am pumping a level 2 smite into this motherfucker.
Okay. It's not a fiend or undead, so it's just...
Yeah.
and I
Two-handed.
imagine this is a two-handed, yeah.
Yeah. Not that it mattered in the end. Then Divine Smite.
So that's 6 slashing damage, which it does resist from your longsword. It's halved to 3. And then 16 radiant damage from the Divine Smite. So 19 damage overall.
Could I then, as a bonus action, cast Thunderous Smite?
Yeah.
And now I would like to use my inspiration to attack it,
Yeah.
to get advantage and attack it. So
Oh my lord.
get Shrek'd.
I mean, so that's max damage on your sword and max
Plus
thunderous smite damage
5.
plus your sword damage again.
So that's 12 Thunderous Smite damage. Plus 7.
So 19 thunderous smite damage. What type of damage is that? Thunder, presumably.
That's thunder.
Yeah. So 19 thunder damage. And
Yeah, I'm like on it now.
how much sword damage is that?
That was, well, it's a D8 plus 4, so that's 12
It's a D10
plus
for your
5.
two-handed.
Oh,
damage.
yes, of course. So it's
15.
14 plus 5.
So 10 plus 4 plus 5. Yeah, so 19. Yeah, so 38 damage total.
Yes.
Oh, bloody hell.
And it also make a strength save or be pushed 10 feet away and prone. Now, I would argue that's 10 feet down.
You're going down too.
What's the
15.
DC for the strength save? DC 15. It fails. It gets a 7. Hold on, let me do maths real quick. Okay.
This might have been such a dumb idea.
This is a great idea.
Yeah, so seeing as you're coming down on it, it is just...
I'm going down too. I understand this.
You can like either like stay on it and try and ride it out, or you can just choose to try and like swim and float as it gets this sort of as you hit it and it rocks down. There's this big spray of water as it's forced down, and all this water is forced out of the way.
I think I'm gonna
water, like throwing a big rock into the sea. The spray kicks up and.
I think I'm gonna try and stay on it.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. You can sort of, the weight of your armor and your gear and things like that will just sort of drag you down, so you can try and rest on top of it.
Excellent. Maybe the coolest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, at the end of your turn, it's going to take another legendary action. At disadvantage, it's going to make a claw attack. I'm going to roll a d6 odds at Arwen, evens a Clary. That's a 1, so it's going for Arwen at disadvantage. That's a 12 overall because of the disadvantage to hit you.
No, don't hit.
Okay. This claw blindly swiping. We at the end of Styx's turn, we go to Arwen.
Okay. I am going to cast Fairy Fire
What on?
on. Wait, what? Which claw is doing what? What's going on with the
The
claws?
left-hand claw is you took these big hits with the firebolt and the strikes from Neo, and after it took a certain amount of damage, it looked like the crab tucked it back in to itself.
Oh, okay.
So it's currently only the right-hand claw is waving around, and because of Styx's attack, the crab's body has been forcibly submerged again.
Yeah. The claw.
Okay.
I will do it on the claw.
What is the effect of Fairy Fire?
I will do this. Basically, anyone that attacks it gets advantage. So.
Is there a save or anything like that? Any creature in the area when the spell is cast is also outlined if in lights. Yeah. So it's a dex save to avoid being outlined, which is odd, but objects and affected creatures should. It's an odd one, but I'll roll it. What's the DC? 13. It doesn't matter. I've rolled a 3 and it's got no modifier, so I'm guessing your DC is not less than 3.
No, I don't know what that is.
Your spell save DC.
Oh, yeah, 13. Yep.
Yeah, so it fails. It is subject to the effects of Fairy Fire. Is that concentration again? Or is that...
No, wrong one.
It doesn't look like it's concentration in the thing. It doesn't say.
No, I just have to look at it.
Interesting. Not even concentration. Okay.
It's there for a minute.
Yeah, no.
And it's just...
Anything else on your turn?
I might move...
Or movement?
I'll move onto the stairs so it stops hitting me. It's annoying me. Cool. Have fun, guys.
Clary, your turn.
How much was Dick's one?
More than Mage Hand. Yeah, Mage Hand is from simple sort of objects and stuff, and I got a plan to get out of that.
So one of the claws is out the water and one of them is in.
Yes.
And the rest of it's submerged. And I'm going to attack the one that's out the water with firebolt again.
Okay. Roll your firebolt. 18. Yeah, that hits. Roll firebolt. 6 fire damage. Okay, again.
Was that with advantage?
No. Oh, yes, sorry. It is, because of the fairy fire, you're right.
I cast my lovely thing for you.
You are right. You get the crit off because of the... So... Yes, so you get the way we do crits, you get the max damage of firebolt plus the roll, so it'll be the max damage plus 6.
What's max damage?
I think firebolt is
1d10, so 10.
So that's 16 fire damage. Yeah, this particularly targeted by this glowing light, this particularly powerful firebolt you conjure and target a more exposed joint, this fire explodes over it, leaving this burned and singed. The smell of like rotting seaweed and burnt seaweed sort of singes your nostrils. Anything else, Clary? Any movement or bonus action?
Yeah. Which claw is it that's out of the water?
It's the right-hand one, this one.
The right-hand one.
The one that's been swiping at you. Yeah, it would have been good if I'd separate this into component pieces that I could have moved about, but that was complicated.
He totally hasn't given me ideas for
Monsters.
for other monsters things.
I totally didn't steal an idea similar to this from a D&D podcast I was listening to the other week.
Ah.
May have changed the thing, but these claws have reach, so if you do move from that position, it will get an attack of opportunity on you. Just to let you know.
Oh, yeah, can I use my disengage?
Yeah, bonus action disengage. Yeah, that's absolutely fine then. It doesn't get an attack of opportunity on you. You move out in such a way that you're wary of it, so even if it tries to swipe at you, you can comfortably sidestep, not to be hit by this huge claw. And we go to Neo, who I don't think can do anything because he is far away. Oh no, he can make it up to here. He's gonna take a swing. Yeah, he doesn't unfortunately hit. So we go to El Crabbo. On the crab's turn, it seems like this one claw that was where it's first going to rise out of the water, and it seems like this one claw that was injured has maybe recovered or something like that in some way. This like oozing wound that you did see on the side of it from when Neo like punctured it doesn't seem to be like leaking sort of like leaking blood or anything anymore. Yeah, seems to have only taken one, sort of mechanically one round to recover, but it could have been longer. And its water jet hasn't, because it wasn't voluntarily submerged, it hasn't been able to recharge its water jet. But it can make 2 claw attacks, one at Neo and one at Clary. So that is a 13 to hit Clary.
13. I don't think it does. I'll check. Yeah.
No.
This thing it's got a +8 and it's rolling like shit. Clearly that blow to the head has done something, because it doesn't hit Neo either with its claw attack. But it's also, because it hasn't got its water jet, it is going to spit acid.
That's fine.
So it's at a target's in front of it. So Arwen.
Yes!
Oh,
Yes.
Hit me.
Does a 13 hit you?
Oh, no.
So this like acidy like spits this like globule of acid like across, and it like splashes like over the deck and over the railings, and you hear it like hissing, but it doesn't manage to land anything of consequence on you.
The one time I want it to hit me.
Stop trying to hit
What
me.
did
I mean,
you have?
I've got absorb elements. I want to absorb the acid and throw it back in his face.
I mean,
I see.
you could choose not to hit, I suppose, because
Yeah.
AC includes your dex, which is your like getting out of the way. So I mean, if you wanted, you could let it hit you to take.
No, because I think I still take.
You still take damage.
Damage.
Yeah, you still take. You become resistant to the damage, and then get to expel 1d6 of it on your next attack.
Mm. Yeah, no,
You'll just not be hit.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Okay. We'll end on Styx. Styx's turn.
Which one of these arms looks more hurt?
The
top one has advantage.
The one on the right probably looks the most injured, as the one on the left has seemingly regenerated somewhat, being under the water.
Alright.
Yeah.
5, 10, 15. Can I hit? If I was to hit, like, right in front of me, there, would that count as hitting the arm?
Yeah.
Also, technically, I'm already in a square here.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll allow it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna whack it in the arm then. Right on its underside. Skabloosh?
14 doesn't hit, I'm afraid.
23.
Oh yeah, you've got advantage, of course. 23. Thank you. I will just continue to forget these things, so please keep reminding me. Yeah, 23 hits. This glowing light surrounding the arm, guiding your strike.
Excellent. So that's 10 damage.
10.
Because I'm pulling out my shield. I feel like I've got to be somewhat dexterous on this thing.
Yeah.
But then I'm also pumping one of those into it.
Divine Smite, okay, so that's 10 slashing damage halved to 5, and 8 radiant damage, so that's 13 damage.
And then I'm going to go again. 19.
19 hits. And 10 damage again. Any Divine Smite?
I can't do Divine Smite more than once per turn, can I?
I don't believe so, no.
When you hit a creature with a melee attack, you can spend one spell slot to do radiant damage in addition to weapon damage. Additional damage to the damage increases. It doesn't say I can't. When you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack, you can expend one spell slot to deal damage to the target, in addition to the weapon's damage.
Yeah.
The extra damage 3d8 for first level spell slot.
Fair enough then. I think it's up to you. You can, use your spell slots like that. If you want.
Absolutely, I'm using my spell slots like that.
Okay, so it's another 5, so 10 half to 5 slashing damage, another 17 damage.
Excellent.
What does it take? Okay, so as you deal these two heavy swipes again, with the radiant damage burning it as you strike, it seems like this claw has once again taken a significant amount of damage, and it recoils it and again tucks it under the main, submerged under the water under the main carapace. And just, okay, nice. Okay, it seems like this one will be submerged and out of the action for a little longer.
Can I still attack it while it's in that state from where I am?
This
because it's sort of
it's underneath, so it's right in. If you wanted to get in the water, it's still there. It's still a limb. So yes, you could, but you'd then be subject to the rules of water combat and things like that.
And I've now bought medium armor. and I don't want to get in the water with medium armor. Okay, in which case, I'm going to use, oh, see, I quite like where I am, so I'm not going to use anything. I'm just going to take a quick step back. So I was here, 5, 10, 15, 20, no, about 25. And I will remain stood on the crab.
Well, I think that will be a good place to call it there.
I'm crab surfing. This is amazing.
Indeed. And I think that will cap it off for this session. And we will.
I like the thought that I'm just stood on this crab, like everyone's been taking a bunch of hits from it, and I'm just on top, like. I'm doing it. I'm on a crab.
One thing I had in mind and forgot to mention was that these blows where the claws are slamming down, and it is missing you, it is still impacting the deck, and so every time it misses, there are these like big, like almost like cracks and like splintering sounds coming from the deck itself, and all around you can, like from below, you can hear like shouts and the attempted coordinations of the crew to try and stop the ship from sinking. And there would be a number of crew on the deck as well, but they are more concerned with keeping the ship afloat and things like that at the moment.
Right.
And then, yeah. But yeah, that's the things you remember after you started doing a thing, Ben. And you're like, oh, yeah, that was a detail I was definitely going to mention and then forgot in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, I get that all the goddamn time.
Yeah, just you can bear that one in mind as well. But I think that'll do for the time being. We've started a little bit late and run a little bit late, but yeah, as long as everyone's alright with that, then I'll see you for some tasty crab meat next week.